Hello, everyone, and welcome to the December Real Talk About Real Estate. My name is Michelle, and I am one of the marketing leads for the ABR designation. Today, I am joined by Robert Morris, who is a broker with Parks Realty in Smyrna, Tennessee. Robert is also one of our 2022 REBEC Hall of Fame inductees. And yes, he is available for autographs. Robert, show us your trophy. Show it
Hey,
off, show it off.
right back here on the ship, right behind
Yes.
me.
All right. Robert is here to talk about the power of connection, and by that I mean networking. As a reminder, we are live, so if you have any comments or questions, feel free to let us know, and we'll do our best to answer them. Take it away, Robert.
Well, thank you so much, Madam Michelle. And hello, everybody. I bring you greetings, yes, from the state of Tennessee. And it's always a pleasure to be able to join you and be able to share a couple of thoughts with you, particularly as we wind down this year. And so I'm going to say it's my favorite time of year, and I'm having a ball, and I accept all gifts, whatever you'd like to send. I'm open for those. But let's talk about the power of connection, just to make sure that as we go into the end of this year, that we'll come out running on the other side. So let's just talk about mastering the basics just for a second. If we were talking about how do you build your connections, the first thing is, does everybody that you know that you are a real estate professional, a lethal weapon in real estate, a person who can make their dreams come true or help them out of a situation that they are currently in? And I'm not just saying in your local marketplace, because real estate is now not only regional, but it is global in its nature. And so if you haven't let people know, family, friends, associates everywhere, that you are capable of assisting them in their real estate transaction, that would be the very first piece that I would say if you're going to multiply your power of connections. Now, most people would ask the question, why would I reach out, Robert, to my competition? Why would I try to nurture that particular relationship? And I'm going to say to you, referrals. I'm going to say to you that the power of referrals is phenomenal. And so when you're talking about getting to know your realtor professional in another area of town that you don't necessarily service, or an area that you don't find easy, or you don't have the working knowledge to be in that particular area, creating relationships with other real estate professionals, like-minded realtors like you, preferably ABRs who've made the commitment, right,
Mm-hmm.
to representing buyers in a
Right.
transaction. Those are the people that you look for to assimilate with and to be able to extend that olive branch for doing business with. I might also say to you that not only that, you learn different techniques from these individuals who are working in different markets. And we've always said, as an ABR, a CRS, a CRB, all of those things, only a certain amount of people are going to do it anyway. So you don't have to be so closed in that your techniques are going to be copied by hundreds of people, because it just doesn't happen. The statistical data will show that that's
Right.
not something that really happens. But you could glean something that works in another market that's not necessarily being done in your market, to be able
Mm-hmm.
to bring it over and emulate it and to explode with it. And I'll give you one quick example. When we used to have billboards, in my small town, our top producing agent decided to put a billboard up, um, where traffic was relatively small as we were coming through. And people would say, other agents, the audacity of her to put her face on a billboard, and why would she expose herself? Well, now they're averaging about 100,000 cars a day past that billboard. And now you have agents calling her. Now, if you ever think you want to get rid of your billboard, please call me and let me know, because I'd be interested in that. Here's the thing: we don't have to wait on other people to approve our success, to give us validity of doing something. If you're working in an area, particularly in a networking area, where you could actually look at some of the ABR pieces and market yourself accordingly to set yourself apart from the competition, that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, Michelle, what are you thinking? Am I flowing with you? Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I'm thinking about how that woman was very smart to, be an early adopter and I mean, she took a brave leap and she really paved the way for other agents in the area. And I think kudos to her.
And she's been winning ever since. Well, how
Good.
else could you have the power of connection? I put something down about attending your local, your state, and the national conferences and conventions. You know,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of agents that we talk about now, we did gather in Orlando. It was a great audience that we had. We were not as many because of the hurricane that was coming in. And you know what they really think about realtors, right? We confirmed it by flying into a hurricane,
Yeah, basically.
right? But
Mm-hmm.
we had a great time. We still exchanged information that we needed, but the power of attending these kind of events cannot be measured. There's hundreds and hundreds of educational opportunities. Matter of fact, there's so many that you have a problem of scheduling which ones that you want to go to and which ones
Right.
that you like to sit in. So that in and of itself is worth its weight in gold. But I always tell young agents, if you use electronic cards or you're using the digital bracelets to actually transfer your information, I used
Mm-hmm.
to say, take a full a box of business cards with you. And when you go to convention, come back with a full box of business cards. And they say, well, Robert, why would I do that? And I says, the catch is that they're everybody else's cards
Mm-hmm.
and not your cards that you
Right.
come back with. Because the
Mm-hmm.
networking power exponentially of putting a face with a name of like-minded individuals, it just goes a huge way as far as building your business and the power of connections that you will have in your business. And I would say, as an instructor, one piece for you: most realtors are. We talk about a two-legged stool, and they are either heavily involved in listings or heavily involved in working with buyers. And what we say is that stool is not very stable, because if one of those legs gives out, I mean, it becomes an issue. So how do we make our business more stable? It's by developing that third leg, and that third leg is the referral based leg.
Mm-hmm.
So I see a three-legged stool becomes one that is very sturdy and can provide stability for us in our business and with income. So would it be out of the realm to say, if I were to just prefer 5 or 6 homes a year at whatever your price point is, and that brought back X amount of dollars to your coffers, would that benefit you in your business? So out of the pieces that we have, the underdeveloped leg is always a referral leg. So it needs to become top of mind awareness that you're letting people know that you are a licensed lethal weapon in real estate and you help make dreams come true. And it doesn't matter where they are.
And
That's
that reminds me of what we were talking about yesterday about secret agents. They can't be found. So
we always say the secret agents don't get fed. So, when we're talking about it, people need to know that you can help them. And as a matter of fact, that leads me into this thought process. Real estate is a contact sport.
Mhm.
And I know because of COVID, we've been limited in our pieces. And that's why we love things like we're doing today in this platform, Zoom or FaceTime or Skype or some of the other pieces that allow us still to have that outreach and that touch. But if real estate is a contact sport, it means that I need to see the people. It means I need to be engaged with the people. Because if we talk about other things like ninja, it says we do business with people that we like, that we know, that we trust, and that we get in the flow with. And so it's important to establish these rapports with people to expand that. And that's other agents in other markets. That's everybody that we know who's actually needing help in buying or selling real estate. All of those things kind of run together. So I wanted to say part of it's going to be, I would say, recognizing the people who are moving and shaking in our business. It is not enough to be in an organization and just have your name on the list. It's
Mhm.
not enough to just say, oh, okay, I'm in this area. The question might be, well, why would I use you? Why would I do business with you? Why would I call you in the first place? So I'm speaking in the realm of us developing our value proposition. We go to meetings or we meet other people and we says, here's my card, take my card, here's my card, take my card. And without thinking about what does that really mean? So
Right.
if you were to, Michelle, if you were to give me your business card, or if I were to give you my business card and says, okay, take this business card, how would you react to that? What would that look like?
Well, if I didn't know you, I would kind of be like, okay, thank you. And then I don't know, I might not keep it because I don't really have any value from it.
So very true. So when we talk about giving of a business card, whether it be electronic or however you give it, what are you giving with it? What is the
Mhm.
what is the what is the advantage of using you? So if you were to see me at a convention and you were to give me a card, and you says, "Okay, Robert, I'd love you to take my card." I could ask you the question, "Why would I take your card?" And how would you respond to me? What would it be that you would share with me that would make me feel that taking your card is of value? And
Mhm.
I think that, well, I know that realtors forget the part of stating what our value is, what we bring
Mhm.
to the table. And we've got to start getting that particular piece out. So here's an example. If I were to ask you to take my business card and you'd ask me why, and you were a realtor, and I'd say that's a quality question. I'm glad you asked it. And I answer that question all the time.
Mhm.
I have committed
Mhm.
myself to excellence in the chosen field of endeavor, which is real estate.
Mhm.
I am an ABR, and I've made a commitment to representing buyers' interest in all levels of real estate. So if you were to send me any buyers whatsoever, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to work to get them the home that they want under the terms and conditions that they want in the time frame that they want with the least amount of hassle to them as we go through the transaction. I'm going to make sure that I have their back and I'm going to take care of their interest so that I make you look good. And at the end of our transaction, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to send you a check because I am so very thankful that you thought enough of me to invest your referral into me and taking care of that. That's what I bring to the table if I were chosen, all right, as an agent to represent your referrals. That's what I bring to the table. If I were a buyer, I need to have one for why would a buyer use me? If you're
Mhm.
talking to a person who say in our buyer representation, our new construction and buyer representation course, I always tell people they have an option to go to a builder directly. So
Right.
why would they use you? What would that be in it to use you? Then you need to say, not in a threatening way or to scare them, well, nobody's representing your interest, so therefore you want me to. No, no, no. We would go and say that's a quality question. You're right. You don't have to use me. But you're about to make one of the largest purchases in your life.
Mhm.
And wouldn't you want somebody on your side to look after your interests and to make sure your investment is the very best that it can be?
Right.
That's what I bring to the table for you because I am an ABR and I'm committed to excellence in my chosen field of endeavor. Totally different piece as to how we do it. So I'm going to just say to you all, start to develop your value proposition. What do you bring to the table? Why should I list my home with you? Why should I use you as my buyer's agent? Why should I refer you any business? And you all need to have that as second nature to you, that you can easily have a conversation with anybody who might ask you the question. So over the holidays, that might be something that you put on your list that you're going to perfect
Yeah.
into the new year.
Yeah,
Any other?
your elevator pitch. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. What else you got for me?
No,
I'm just checking it off.
I was just saying, it's funny because I feel like we say, work on your elevator pitch, but that's a good point, is it's not just one pitch, it's two, because it's one for referrals and it's one for buyers. So I think that's a good reminder.
That is true. And then too, if they were to ask you to go in depth in any of those things, we're going to talk about what we've always taught: FORD, friends and family, occupation and job, recreation and fun, dreams and goals, because people love to talk about what those things are. And I have every confidence that you guys could make this particular thing happen. Let me
Totally.
go to another area that I think it is overlooked a lot,
Hmm.
and it's designations and certifications. And people's like, well, what's the use? Why do I get those? Why would it even matter to me? Well, it's sort of like if you were having to have surgery and they told you you had to have a heart transplant, a heart surgery, or something like that. And it says, well, here's the person that'll do the heart surgery. Of course, they're just out of medical school, and but they're really good. Their hands are steady and whatnot. And you go to thinking like, I don't know. Maybe I ought to get a specialist. Maybe you ought to get somebody who has committed themselves to the study of this particular thing that I would fare better in. That's what designations and certifications give you, because you are the specialist. You've gone the extra mile, 2 miles, or 3 miles to hone your craft, to become that person who really knows what those pieces are. And believe it or not, more consumers are looking for that today. Not just a everyday run of the mill type of individual who has been willing to put in the time, the energy, effort, and so forth to really, really hone their craft. So I'm going to say to you, I mean, I've got a few designations and certifications.
Just a few.
Yeah. I mean, just a few. And none of them have hurt me in any form or fashion. In other words, they can't really hurt you. See, here's what the distinction is. Education builds knowledge. And that's what we talk about, that your knowledge base is increased. Training, however, develops a skill. And we have to actually weave in both of them. So with the designations and certifications that are brought to you, phenomenally, by the way, they help either to develop the knowledge base in education wise or to hone your skill, and those things are necessary. But what we're looking at, who's willing to do that? Who of the body is willing to actually set themselves apart from their competition? So certifications and designations not only raise your knowledge, not only raise your expertise, not only raise your skill set, but it actually sets you apart from the others who are just in the business. Now, I will say to you, people will say, well, I don't have to have a designation to make a lot of money or to be successful. I would say to you, that's a fair statement. You don't have to have anything to be successful. But I can tell you this, having those designations and certifications sure make it a lot easier. It sure actually allows you to make more if that was your goal, or to work less and make the same, right? So if you don't know, you made X amount of dollars and you worked 80 hours a week, would you like to make the same amount of money working 40? Okay, in that case, then that's an advantage for you. Or you made X amount of dollars, but would you have liked to make double that? Well, that's where this knowledge, these skill sets, and this expertise comes. So don't let people tell you that designations and certifications don't matter, because they do make a difference. And they make you, the perception is to the consuming public, that you are committed to the craft that you are in. So I would always encourage you all to do those particular things. And here's the other piece that I will say to you, because I want to make sure that by the time we're done with our session today and sharing with one another, don't forget to renew, your APR. I mean, that's kind of right up the next oxygen in importance, because you want to stay with this elite group who are making a difference and nailing down buyer representation. You bring expertise, you bring education, you bring experience to the table. And with that said, then what about your goals for next year? Have you had an opportunity, maybe as the year's winding down, to put your goals together? What does that look like for you? How many people are you wanting to help make their dreams come true for 2023? How many things do you want to do yourself in 2023, or whether it be family, or whether it be personal, or whether it be on your career goals? What does that look like for you? And in that, you're probably going to figure out, being an ABR, how that contributes to you being successful in the goals that you're putting for yourself. Remember now, they got to be specific. You got to have goals that are specific, because if they're not, they're all over the place. We know that they need to be, that we can manage them, that we can actually achieve those goals, what they're going to look like. We know that they need to be accountable. There's accountability with what those goals are. So we need to write them down. How are we going to get there? What we're going to do. And then we need to make sure that they are realistic. Mm-hmm. Because, see, if we have an unrealistic goal and we stumble out of the gate, we are soon to quit. We're soon to just stop and say, well, we're going to do it next year. And
Right.
all goals must have a time constraint. It's not a goal if there's no beginning and an ending. Can we modify them? Can we change them? Can we say, okay, life hit us and we need to regroup and expand that? Yes, but not to have an ending date is not good at all. So we want to make sure that when we're putting that together, we want to have those pieces in mind. So as we go into the 2023, a lot of us are going to make what we call, Michelle, resolutions. Here's what I think about resolutions. They're secrets. See, resolutions are a secret. See, I didn't tell anybody. I didn't let anybody know. And
You didn't post to Facebook?
Huh?
You didn't post it to Facebook?
No, it was just my secret, right?
Okay, got
So
it.
if I start off next year and I do good the first week, I'm cool. But if the second week I start to have withdrawals, right? And then by the third week, I'm like, oh man, I'm really just. And so the fourth week, I'm going and I'm consuming all the food again. Everybody would just look at me and says, that's normal. That's what Robert does, because I never told him. Here's what I'm going to say about resolutions. They're great, but they don't have any teeth to them. We got to put goals in place. And once we put the goals in place, it'd be great to have an accountability person who will hold us to the goals that we said that we would do. So here's what I've shared with you in our time. And if we get any questions, I'm open book to be able to help you with those questions. But, when we talk about the power of connections, what is your connection? Have you done everything that you possibly can do to make sure that everybody that you know knows that you're capable of helping make their dreams come true? If you haven't, that's the starting point back to the basis. And whether it be local or whether it be regional or whether it be global in its nature, you've got ABRs all across the world who'd be happy to assist you in whatever you need to make you look good. We talked about the referral networks, and we're going to say, based on those referral networks, you guys need to expand your horizons. Make an effort to beat people, make an effort to put faces with names, because you're going to feel more comfortable referring to agents that you've seen, that you've talked to, that you know about. And where do you get that from? You get that from your state, your national meetings, of attending those meetings. By the way, I think that there is some kind of tax write-off, because it is a business expense that you're actually going to do. Yeah. So yeah. So I think that would be one of the advantages, but putting it on your calendar now to be in Washington in May, or to be or to be in Anaheim next year, with the goal of taking a box of business cards electronically or whatever and coming back with a box of business cards. Putting faces and names together, establishing rapport with other professionals in our industry. By the way, we went over 1.6 million that was announced in Orlando. So we have influence, and there's a lot of people out there who would actually be willing and excited to help you grow your business even outside of your local market. So look for those opportunities at the state and national meetings to be able to do that. And I'll tell people, if you don't plug in, you don't get anything. It's not enough to be a REBAC member and not plug into all the benefits that we have, right? The Facebook pages that we have, the one sheets, the different types of tools that we have to help you be successful and to set yourself apart from the competition. If you don't plug in, this is nothing in, right? I get nothing out. So once I actually put that in, I want to make a concerted effort that I'm going to put forth the energy needed to yield me a good result and a good return out of that. Real estate's a contact sport. So you got to see the people, whether it be Zoom or whether it be FaceTime, or you reach out to them and you see them, because we like to put faces and names together. And that's even with your a database that you have. So look at how you could do that and reach out more effectively. We know that the interest rates have gone up. We know that things are changing a little bit in the dynamics. So who are going to be the agents still standing? Who are going to be the agents that are still being able to work this business and to help people and to make their dreams come true? And I have the strong inclination it is going to be the people who have an A and a B and an R, that they're working in their business and they're making things happen. With those pieces, don't forget to renew. I'm going to look forward to seeing you guys, whether you be at mid-year or whether you're being in Anaheim. I'm planning on being in those places. If I'm here, I'm going to be those. Or maybe I'll see you somewhere along the line where we're teaching. In any of those cases, remember that if I can help you in my area, in the Nashville region, and you need quality realtors to represent your buyers and to make you look good, we're going to be here for you as well. Michelle, what else you got for me? Did I miss anything? Do I need it?
No, I think that was a really good summary. I think, the one thing that you did not cover was we also have, in addition to the NAR events, like Robert mentioned, we've got the ABR virtual networking events as well.
Yes.
And we usually hold those like once a year, typically in the summer. So look out for one of those. That's a great way if, you are looking to meet people in other markets and don't want to leave the home. You can very easily jump on Zoom and join us for one of those. Also, we have some micro courses through CRD, and actually Robert has one available himself, which is called Prospecting for Profit. So if you're trying to get into some prospecting, Robert can tell you all about it in his micro course. So that's available at learning.realtor. And then Robert mentioned the one sheets. Those are typically found in issues of Today's Buyers Rep, the TBR. We've got 2 issues of note that are related to referrals. The January 2020 issue is actually about making the most out of referral relationships. And then the May 2021 issue covered online reviews, which is, just another aspect of, how you put yourself out there and how you manage your presence in the industry. So those are all really great resources that are available to you as an ABR designee. And, if you're watching right now, you're in the Facebook group. As Robert said, if you want to stay in the Facebook group, don't just phone it in. You gotta, commit to it and, put in what you want to get out of it. And then also, if you want to keep, your access to it, you do have to renew your Reback membership. And we are having a little bit of a discount if you renew online before December 31st. You do save 5% on your 2023 dues. So just go ahead and get it done with, and then you can relax for the rest of the year. So that's what I've got. I don't see any questions right now, but if anyone's watching this after the fact, feel free to leave a comment. You could tag Robert. He will respond to you, hopefully, if he's not too busy. And we'll make sure that, your question's addressed. So on that note, I don't see anything else. So gonna wrap up, and I wanted to say thank you so much, Robert, and to everyone for joining us. It has been a fantastic year of Real Talk About Real Estate. We hope you are excited about building your network and your business in the coming year. As a reminder, don't forget to renew your Reback membership to keep your ABR designation active. Happy holidays and happy new year. All right, bye everyone.